Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Just gonna wait for some people to tune in. I don't know if most of you are on your way to work, or you started the holiday early for July 4th. Happy July 4th, everybody. Hello, hi Mary on TikTok. Hi everybody on YouTube. Hi everybody on Facebook. Um, Comment in the box and let me know where you are tuning in from. I always like to know what city and state or what country you're tuning in today from. I personally am in sunny Florida, Orlando area, Florida. Um, and if this is your first time tuning in, definitely hit the like button, hit the follow button, and subscribe if you are on YouTube. Share this with your friends, use a WhatsApp button and share it with your friends on TikTok so that they can tune in. Today's a good topic. I get this question all the time. And because this is, an area of my practice that I'm very passionate about, so I want to be able to answer questions today, about VAWA and, key requirements basically for a successful VAWA case. Okay, so while other people are tuning in, let me, hi Obioma from Tampa, thanks for tuning in. So let me introduce myself. My name is Aisha Chidole, and I am an immigration attorney headquartered in Lake Mary, Florida, which is suburbs of Orlando. We have a satellite office as well in Atlanta, but we represent clients in all 50 states. So it doesn't really matter what state you are in. Immigration is a federal practice, so we can represent you. Hi, Love Ephraim from South Carolina. TikTokers, you're quiet today. Comment, let us know where you're tuning in from. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay, so my phone number for those who are on TikTok is 407-995-6567. On YouTube, Facebook, you can see my phone number right there scrolling through. And once you get off this live, you can also log in, go to my profile and you see my contact information. Good morning, Carter from Virginia. Okay, so today I want to talk about the key requirements for a successful VAWA case. So I got a couple of questions on YouTube asking, what is VAWA? So let me first give a brief description of what VAWA is. So VAWA is, it's the acronym stands for Violence Against Women's Act. And what that means is that there's been a law put in place for victims of abuse, extreme cruelty, domestic violence. But I don't want you to be deceived by the name violence against women, because this applies to men, women, children, and even parents of U.S. citizens. So typically, if you are married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you are technically eligible to qualify for this if you meet the requirements that I'm going to go over. If you are a child or a stepchild whose parents got married before you turned 18 of a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, you're also qualified. And then last but not least, if you are a parent of a U.S. citizen and your child is over the age of 21, you technically could qualify for this. So there are core key requirements that you need to qualify. Again, hi everyone. Thanks for coming in. As you're coming in, just leave your comment in the box. Say hi. Let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to make sure I try to answer every question. You guys can ask me your immigration questions here, whether it's VAWA related or anything else. I'll try my best to answer. I'm not going to be able to be here this morning super long because I have a meeting at 9:30. So if one of you wants to be my timekeeper, I'm just going to try and get through this topic real quick. Hi, Binta on YouTube from New York City. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, so let's talk about the key requirements. So I already just mentioned the first key requirements. I'm talking about marriage-based VAWA cases, by the way. So the key requirements, number one, is that you must be married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder to be able to be eligible for this. The exception, and I can see your questions on TikTok. I'm going to try and get to most of them once I finish. The exception is that if you are divorced from your U.S. citizen or green card holder spouse, that divorce, you have to submit your VAWA application before the 2-year anniversary of your divorce. So if you file it after 2 years from the date you received your final decree of divorce, you're no longer going to be eligible. So you have to file for VAWA before the 2-year anniversary of your divorce. So that's the first requirement. The second requirement is that you have to show that you have a good faith marriage. So let's break that down. What does a good faith marriage mean? Simply put, a bona fide marriage, meaning a real marriage, meaning you entered into your marriage hoping that things are going to work out, but things didn't work out. Things didn't work out for you and your spouse because your spouse is cruel, your spouse is mean, your spouse is toxic, your spouse psychologically abuses you, your spouse, verbally abuses you, but that you enter this marriage in good faith. Good morning, MK Cash morning. And I know this is much earlier than my normal time. So my kids are going to summer camp this summer, and it gives me a little bit more time in the morning. So I'm going to be trying to come as often as I can around 9 o'clock, somewhere between 9 to 9:05. So you can either put notifications so that you get notified when I'm going live. I'll set an alarm, set something on your alarm so that, you'll know when I'm going live, because, this is a great opportunity, candid conversation between me as an immigration attorney and the rest of you guys. Good morning, Duro Jayola Ayekun. I hope I pronounced that correctly. As I was saying, so you have to show you have a good faith marriage, and just that things didn't work out, but your marriage was intended to be real when you entered your marriage. Next, the next requirement is a shared residence. What do they mean by that? What they mean is cohabitation. Unlike maybe a marriage-based case, while there's no requirement in a marriage-based case that you and your spouse live together, you need to have a good reason why you don't live together. But for a VAWA-based case, you need to be able to show that you guys live together at some point, even if it was a short time. So there's no minimum requirement of how long you could have lived together, but you need to show cohabitation, in order to qualify, with a few exceptions, if it's a U.S. military person, outside the country and stuff like that. But you have to show cohabitation. The fourth, I don't know what number I am, 1, 2, 3, 4th. Yeah, so the fourth requirement is good moral character. So let me just answer Duro Jayola. In order to book a consultation with me, you can call 407-995-6567, and a member of my team will be able to schedule you for a consultation. I'm going to type that in the comments box as well for you. So as I was saying, you have to show good moral character. And so what is good moral character? Good moral character is basically no criminal infractions, no crime of moral turpitude, no aggravated felony, and things of that nature. Unless, sometimes though, obviously with everything, there are always exceptions. Sometimes, I might get a client who has a domestic violence incident where they were not the aggressor, but because maybe the cops took the other party's side, or the other party incited that or created that. So with cases like that, we just try to argue, that our client's character was good, but that this was the abuser's intention. Hi, Barana. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, we did chat a few days ago. Good morning, Amelia. How are you? Yeah, good morning, Williams on TikTok. Sorry, TikTok. I'm not neglecting you guys. I'm just trying to go up and down. So one of how do you prove good moral character? A police clearance report from every state or country you've lived in for at least 6 months in the last 3 years, or an FBI clearance report. Personally, I like to send FBI clearance reports because the FBI is going to pull up everything that needs to be pulled up. And if I find something from a specific state, then we can then go and get either the criminal disposition, the court disposition, or ask the client about it. Because, sometimes things happen even a long time and the client might not remember. But, basically your case is not moving forward without that. So, it's always better to be upfront and then let's decide based on the criminality of your case or what it is that happened if you still be eligible. And then, of course, the last but not the least requirement is extreme cruelty and abuse. Good morning, Effie. How are you? So extreme cruelty and abuse is the last requirement, and of course the most critical requirement. So I know a lot of people always ask, how can they prove, extreme cruelty? I didn't call the cops, I don't have any pictures of what this person, my husband, did to me or my wife did to me. So one of the critical pieces of extreme cruelty and to have a successful case showing the cruelty that you've experienced in your marriage is your declaration. And declaration, for those who don't know, is your statement. It's like a personal statement of your entire marriage. So your statement should tell your story. So from the time you met your spouse till this moment when you're submitting this petition, essentially. And one of the things that we look for is we want to be able to dig in and see if there are things in your own past that affects the way you enter into a relationship or stay in a relationship or what you consider as normal. Because sometimes when an examiner and officer is looking at stuff, sometimes they can't understand why somebody will stay in certain things. So being able to, what am I trying to say? To understand the mind of the victim is really critical. So let me use an example, give you guys an example to help you. Like, so if you have somebody, from a country where, their parents were physically abusive, right, towards each other. Like, my dad hit my mom, or whatever it is, it's normal. Like, it wasn't like he did it a lot. It was just like one time or two times, right? So I'm using that as an example. For somebody like that, when they enter into a marriage, because their societal norms say that that's normal, it will take a lot for them to admit or accept they've been abused, Like a lot of times I might have somebody say to me, oh yeah, he wielded a gun at me, but he never used it. Oh yeah, like he bangs the door and opens the door and I'm so scared I'm in a closet, but he never hit me, right? So that is abuse. That is abuse because that affects the psyche, that affects you psychologically, that affects you from a mental standpoint. So those declarations really help to tell your story and why certain things, you don't take it as abuse, but it is abuse. And that's why a consultation is also necessary. And then on the men's side, a lot of men are financially abused. A lot of men are financially abused, amongst other things, or made to feel less than if they cannot provide financially. And for a lot of immigrant cultures, men are the primary breadwinners. So when their wives are like, you need to pay for this, you need to pay for this, you need to pay for this, they don't even know there's like a fine line between abuse and a sense of responsibility, where a woman takes advantage of it because she knows that as long as she does this or forces a guy to do this, he'll do it. Or they threaten you, well, if you don't do it, if you don't pay for it, I'm not going to help you with your petition. I'm going to withdraw my petition. I'm going to kick you out of the house and stuff like that. So, so just to summarize before I start taking questions, because I know I'm going to be running out of time very soon. Extreme cruelty, you want to look at not only physical abuse, when you're writing your statement, you want to think about the financial abuse. You want to think about the psychological and emotional abuse. You want to think about the sexual abuse. And remember, sexual abuse is not just rape, right? Or unwanted, sex. It covers a lot. of things, including, being put at risk of an STI or an STD, excessive cheating around with several different people, forcing you to get pregnant when you don't want to get pregnant, withholding pregnancy from you if you desire to have children. Those are some of the things. And then of course, verbal abuse. So those are the core requirements. If you're able to cover all those 5 things, you really increase your chance of a successful VAWA petition. And one thing I forgot to mention was, other than your declaration being really important, any credible evidence you have is also really important. They understand that as immigrants, or undocumented immigrants or immigrants without papers, most people are not going to go to the cops if something happened. Why are they not going to go to the cops? Because they don't want to get deported. They don't want to get in trouble. So, or because their spouse has threatened them, so much where they believe that, if they go to the cops, they will literally be deported. So you might not have a police report, and that is fine, but if you've dealt with stuff emotionally and psychologically, getting a psychological evaluation helps. Going to see a therapist helps. Those are all things you can do. And even if you don't submit your therapy report when you submit your application, you can still supplement your application with that, after you go see a therapist, So anywho, so those are some of the requirements. If you have text messages where your spouse cursing you out, being abusive towards you, emails, WhatsApp, if your spouse puts you on blast on Facebook, Insta story, save all those things. Don't get so angry that you start deleting evidence because you're just so annoyed. If you and your spouse are going back and forth on WhatsApp, you don't need to delete that, because one day you might need them for evidence. Okay. So that's it. I'm going to scroll through and see what questions you guys have, and I will start answering some questions. I only have about 9 minutes before I jump into my meeting. Somebody on TikTok says, my friend has been in the US for 5 years and has not gotten his papers yet. He is married. Prior to his marriage, he had filed for asylum. Do you have any advice for him? So it really depends. Has he, I know you said he filed for asylum, but if he's married, has he filed for a green card? If he's filed for a green card, we want to see why, he hasn't gotten anything up until now, because obviously that's a long time for him not to have gotten anything. So have him call me 407-995-6567. Okay, so let me take some questions on Facebook. Good morning, Alade. Thanks for tuning in. Smith Barana, we're ready to start the application. We found someone who's going to stand with you. Awesome. Just call us, Barana, 407-995-6567, and someone will be able to assist you, okay? Patricia says she is, hi, hey, says, how are you doing? Hi, how are you doing? You're tuning in from Pennsylvania. Awesome. Ariana, thanks for tuning in from New York. Okay, do you guys have any other questions before I jump off? So I might actually jump off earlier than I anticipated, which is fine. Let's see if I am missing any questions. I have only 7 minutes, so use this time to ask your questions if you have any questions. Or if you're watching this, the replay after I'm done with the lives, you can always either call us 407-995-6567 or send us a WhatsApp 404-333-8751. Big Daddy says you look like a lawyer. Well, I am a lawyer, but I don't really know what that means. What do lawyers look like? Anyway, all right, guys. I hope everyone has something lovely planned for 4th of July. I will be in Atlanta, so I will be tuning in live from Atlanta all of next week and doing all my consultations from Atlanta next week. I hope you all have a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in. Bye.